Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
We are back.
Yes, we are excited to be back.
Yes, ready to unlock our financial potential, as you heard in the intro. How exciting.
Yes.
All right, folks. We want to welcome those that always join us via Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We love the audience. We love that you stay connected. We want you to share, to comment, to like while you're on here. For the next 30 minutes or so, he is going to be sharing some amazing tips and another amazing topic, which, speaking of topics, Bernard, what do we got going on today?
We're talking about the major topic is in a gig. One thing that happens so much, right? We talked about ways to invest, how to invest. With past couple episodes, went over how to invest your money, where, how to mutual fund. But what happens is there's a major challenge that's happening for so many people. One thing that happens with so many of our clients over the years, especially even more now than ever, is we find a lot of people sometimes they have goals and dreams that are right here. Mm-hmm. They have big goals that are right here, but sometimes their income is where? Yeah. Down there, right? So sometimes there's two ways there's two things you can do, two options. You're either gonna have to decrease your goals and dreams to meet your income, or you're gonna have to increase your income to meet your goals and dreams.
Yes.
Right. And if you ask an average person, what would you rather do? They say, well, I want to increase my income.
Of course.
That's common, right? But it's like, well, the question is how? Where? How do I do it? So this is the $1 million question that's out there. And I think we went over a couple of times about income, growing income, but we want to delve into a little bit more and more details, what that entails specifically, especially in our industry. I'm in the financial service industry. How do I compare it to, I guess, different industries out there, right? And it's so important for people to understand. So if you look at the title, which is very, very interesting, right?
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
Fancy, right? Is your advantage in a gig economy, right? We are in a gig economy. What does a gig economy means, right? Very, very simple. There's different stages. If you look at history, there's different stages, like economies have been to it. Like, for example, back in 1700, it was called the Renaissance era, right? Then 18 that was the Industrial Revolution, where most of the income, most of the wealth that was created in the U.S. was because of Industrial Revolution industries out there, right? Oil industry, steel, right? All these different industries out there, right? But if you fast forward, especially in 1990s, 200, what era are we in right now? Very simple. We're in a gig economy. What does that actually mean? That means we are in the information era, and we are in the distribution era.
Yes.
Information and distribution are the most important economies out there, ways to make incomes out there. If you look at all the big companies, right? Amazon, what business Amazon's in? Amazon is not a retail business. Amazon is in the distribution business.
Right.
They're in the distribution business, right? If you think about Apple is not in the phone business. Apple is the information business.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Microsoft, all these industry, right? There are information. It's not anything physical that's being created. Is in right information and the distribution of information, right? In other words, so we are in a gig economy. That's where we are right now, pretty much, right? So if anyone has a chance to make income, to have success, we have to embrace what's happening out there. You have to know what era you're in and how can you take advantage of era, right? Because part of becoming successful is understand where you are, right? Is understand be at the right place at the right time, but you have to be the right person and the right vehicle, which is so important.
So good.
Absolutely. So most people they fall in this. There's a cycle of disappointment, right? Very cycle, right? They're disappointed because they don't make enough income, right? Guess what happens? So there's a need whenever there's disappointment happening, there has to be a need for it, then potential solutions, right? Disappointment, need, and potential solution, right? See, gig work is an attractive idea, right? What does that actually mean, right? In fact, about 36% of workers right now work in some kind of side hustle. That's the theme that everyone talks about. Side hustle. What's a side hustle? Everybody got a side hustle.
Everybody now.
Everybody got a side hustle, right? 36% of have a side hustle, right? So there can be a lot of freedom forging path for stuff. But if you don't find the right opportunity out there, you can find yourself locked in a cycle of disappointment. That means if you don't find the right vehicle in which you can actually earn more income or get the freedom you want and desire, you might still be falling that this cycle of disappointment. Make sense? And it's crazy. Everyone actually, listen, we live in Florida. Florida, it's like everyone has like 2 jobs. Everyone has some 2 or 3. If you talk, there's very few people I come across in Florida like, oh, I'm only doing one thing and that's it. No, they're doing this and they're doing something on the side, which is important.
Correct.
Which happens, right? Exactly. So if you look at, well, why do people need more money? Why need more? Number one, many families experience a budget shortfall for one of many more reasons. Number one, inflation. The cost of inflation, a cost of living has gone up. And we're going to talk a lot about numbers in a little bit. Cost of inflation has gone up tremendously, right, over the years. And we're going to talk about the incomes back then and compared to now. Credit card debt. Credit card debt is a major challenge. Credit card has been through the roof.
Through the roof. Yep.
Through the roof. Even during the pandemic, has doubled even, right? Credit card debt, right? Unexpected expenses that's out there. That always happens, right? That always happens. They're going through the roof, right? Higher grocery and living expenses. People complain about high foods, right? People are making life decisions at the gas station sometimes, right? Should I get $30, $40? Should I fill it up? What should I get? People are making life decisions at the gas station. It's the craziest thing that happens, right? Yeah, it's true. Groceries, right? People walking around growing. I see them. They're like counting. I see that happen, and it's real. It's real out there, right? People in the grocery, they're like, okay. I see them counting, like, because they calculate in their head how much they're gonna spend and where they should put on, right? It's a reality, right? Rising healthcare costs is going up. Healthcare, especially the fact that the healthcare system is like totally like unstable, was changing from year after year. Every month they're about to turn it down, they're going to shut it down, destroy it, rebuild. There's always, every time it's part of the whole political whatever agenda out there that there's. So people don't even know. And I have a lot of friends that are in the healthcare industry that they do health insurance, right? And one thing I see, like, oh man, it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy. So it's just a reality. It's a fear they have in the industry out there. It's real that it's gonna hit a lot of people. So there's a lot of people, which is great, that's gonna make major decisions, and we're gonna go over whether they should do things or not because of healthcare reasons, for example, right? Wow. Treatment. Let's talk about income, right? And this is underestimated. Nearly 60% of Americans would have difficulty finding $1,000 for an emergency. Just $1,000 in emergency, 60%. That's 6 out of 10 people out there. If they have an emergency that require them to spend $1,000, they would have to think twice about it. Oh my gosh, where do I get it? How do I get it? Right, and it's tragic. It's a crazy thing that happens, right? Which actually more than 48%. Almost, I think 75% live in paycheck to paycheck. Major portion, right? Average person, and this is across all incomes, Liz. I've come across, actually done a survey that actually 30 or 40% people are making a $250,000 a year, $250,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. They have nice stuff, right? They have nice cars, they have nice homes, right?
So it doesn't matter.
They drive. It's just higher level broke, right? It's just a higher level broke, but it's a reality, right? Yeah. Average person is one paycheck away from a disaster. One paycheck away from a disaster. If you ask an average person right now, right? Listen, you're supposed to get paid this Friday. Let's say something happens and your payroll and your employer messes up your paycheck. What happened? How do you
How do you pay your bill or your mortgage that week?
A lot of people, oh my gosh, you see them sweating. And I asked a lot of time. I asked a lot of my potential clients. I said, "No, listen, God forbid you didn't get your next paycheck right now, right? How would you be okay?" And you seem sweating. You seem like really like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And we experienced that a lot. I mean, about 5 months ago, maybe a couple months ago, we had the shortage, like the government shutdown, right? Where you saw a lot of people that literally, I think 20% of TSA, they lost 20% of employees at TSA because they almost a month, almost a couple of paychecks they lost. People just quit. A lot found another job. People with bad situations. So it's sad, but it's a reality people are facing out there. Which is something that we have to address, because sometimes we can talk about financial education as much as we want. Sometimes there's nothing you can. Sometimes people need to make more money. There's not too much to adjust sometimes, right? At the same time, right? So let's look at the next slide, right? And people feel like sometimes people feel they're alone. One thing that happens a lot, people feel they're all alone. They feel like they're the only ones going through that. It's only me or and they feel that way. And I kind of get like, no, like you're not the only one. See, the nation's affordability crisis has not spared the middle class families, right? 1/3 of which struggle to afford basic necessities like such as food, housing, and childcare. Those are things that are important, right? For example, and I ran the numbers. Check this out, Liz. In the year 2000, the average middle income in the U.S. was about $64,000. In the year 2000, the average middle income was $64,000. You fast forward to 2025, the average middle income was $83,000, which is like a 29% jump.
Yep.
Right? 29% jump, right? But if you look at it, I look at how much a house costs, right? Average income of a home, and 2000 was 157,000. Wow. That was in 2000. Now you fast forward 2025. What's the average income? Average home price, 372,000.
Yeah, ridiculous.
That's 136% more
Jump.
But right, think about incomes. Average income only jumped up 29%, but average home price jumped up 136%.
You just painted that picture perfectly.
That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's a major problem out there, right? In other words, right? Think about it, right? See, with healthcare costs ready to spike, Americans are already struggling to afford medical care.
Yep.
With 1/4 foregoing treatments and skipping medications in the past year to save money. A lot of people, for example, there's treatments that maybe they need, but they're like, oh man, it's gonna cost, someone's out of pocket because of copay, whatever it might be, and they're like nervous and scared about it, and they don't want to do it, which is very, very scary a lot of times, right? People face challenges paying for higher cost of living, like we had tariffs, inflation, and certain uncertain job market, unaffordable housing, which is happening, and it's crazy. Even rentals, right? It's crazy. I remember when we first coming to Florida. I was in 2017, 2018, right? We think, oh, we should come out here, right? Because it was cheaper, right? It was, I think you could rent 3-4 bedroom house easy for like was $1,500.
Correct.
It was $1,500. That was in 2017. Now you can't try to get a 3-4 bedroom. You're gonna pay 22, 24, 2,500.
Easy.
2,500 easy. So 1,000, right? That's a big jump right there. Just renting. So it's craziest things that's happening out there, right? So people, well, what's the options? What's the options out there, right? But how do people typically earn more money, right? Number one is working long hours. One thing they're doing, working long hours, picking up extra shifts at a current job. We have a young lady that she does nursing and she works for Publix on part-time, and it's crazy hours. She's working 60, almost 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
To be able to barely get by, right? Or that's one option, but most times it's not an option because employers are not trying to give more hours. A lot of times employers figure out a way they can hire 2 people and pay the same. They're rather than pay you overtime, they rather hire 2 people and actually pay them the same. Makes sense, which happens. Or a second was take on a part-time gig. We talk about rideshare, right? Which is like Uber, which is been popular past, I guess, past since before the pandemic, right? Food delivery, right? Uber Eats or whatever out there, right? DoorDash, people are doing.
Yes.
Bartending, right? Pets, all these different things. Handing people a pet, right? It's the craziest thing that's people are doing out there. It's crazy, and you'd be surprised. The people are doing it. You be like, listen, we travel a lot, Liz, and a lot of times sometimes we take Ubers. A lot of times, different parts of the country, we travel a lot, and I always ask. One thing I always try to ask, well, is that what you do? You do that full time, Uber full time, or are you doing it part time? And you'd be surprised that people that have careers, people that nursing, people that are. I came across engineers that are doing Uber on the side.
Yep.
They're doing what? But why do they do that? For example, having side also is appealing, flexible, easy load to do a fast cash. It can fit familiar apps, popular, convenient. They can do that. So a lot of people get attracted to that, but there's a problem with those also. People don't realize. If you look at the next slide, right?
Okay.
There's a hidden the reality, right? Most 60 million have some kind of side hustle, but does it really match up to the expectation? Are they really getting ahead? Constantly evolving platform. Those are stiff market competition out there. How many Uber drivers people need? I mean, really out there in certain markets, right? It's a crazy. I actually ran the numbers as how much an average Uber driver makes. Average Uber driver makes average $15 an hour before expenses. $15 to $20 an hour before expenses. So that's like almost like minimum wage. And you're using your own car, so you're using your own gas. Gas prices are through the roof, right? Then there's
wear and tear.
Wear and tear of your car. So there's a lot of outside expenses that also. So if you think about it, if you average it out, probably making $10 an hour. Doing that, working hard, right? There's stiff market competition, right? Earnings are hard to maintain, high stress. You know, you're out there working crazy hours, right? Which is, you no quality of life. You know, you get worn out, things like right. And sometimes you have limited long-term growth opportunity. Right? What is that? Are you gonna get promoted in Uber? I mean, what are you gonna do? Like chief? I mean, things.
Right.
You have to do what you have to do, but it's just a reality. It's just a reality out there, and there's so many different things out there. If you look at if you go on social media, there's always this thing. I get bombarded. I don't know I get bombarded with text message 5 times a day. Hiring, side work, we're more from home. All it's like bombarded with text message because everyone's trying to get someone to do something. People fall for these traps and they go and do them, and they realize it's not worth it sometimes, right? And they don't end up not making anything, which is sad.
And now I see where the title is with the gig economy. So good.
Yes, absolutely. Now the idea that you gotta find something, right? You gotta find something, right? That if you look at the cycle, disappointment, need, potential solution, you have to disrupt the endless grind with a better way, right? So guess what happens? The ideal business opportunity offers no more than a large market. So you have to do something. And there's different things out there you can do, right? I can speak for the financial field because that's what I'm in. There's a large market with genuine needs for products and services because people need what we do. A lot of times people need what we do out there, right? That's something that's so important. People always going to struggle. People always going to live paycheck to paycheck. People always going to want to get out of debt. They're always going to be able to want to retire. So there's a huge market no matter what happens for what we do, right? There's upfront income, recurrent income potential. There's earnings based on your efforts, lower startup costs. A lot of time, team environment, you have unlimited growth potential. So you have to be able to do something. We have an ability, if you want to, you have an ability where you can scale your business and be able to grow, right? Sometimes in Uber, some side gigs, you can't scale your business because there's so many hours you can put in. If you want to make more money, how do you do it? How do you do it? It's very hard to do that, which is so important, right? So if you look at the next slide, right? The reason that's happening a lot of times, there's only 2 primary sources of recurring income. All of us want kind of recurring income, right? Number one, you need to have money working for you, right? Which is one thing we talk about, having money work for you. And the second one, you need to have a business working for you. Either your money working for you or business working for you. But how is the average person doing at developing recurring income? A lot of people don't. They're not very good at it, unfortunately, right? Which is important. The reason that's happening is people don't really understand how the whole economic structure in the United States works. And this is something I went over, I think, before. And this is one thing that really struck me when I first took a look at the opportunity to make extra income. I got in the financial field. There was this book called they told me, read this book. Robert Kiyosaki wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes,
right? I think powerful book. I think everyone should read. It's an instant classic, right? And 1990, everyone should read, right? And one thing he talked, if you look at the next slide, he talked about the cash flow quadrant, right? And he talked about most people, there are only 4 ways to earn income in the U.S. And everyone's going to fall in those 4 different kinds. Number one is you're either an employee. See, when you're an employee, you have a job, your income is based on a position of the person, right? See, what happens a lot of time, employee, your income, you help pay the bills, but you don't get paid what you're worth.
Right.
You get paid what the position is worth. So if that position pays you $40,000-$50,000 a year, you're never gonna make any more than $40,000-$50,000 a year. Even if you work hard on the person next to you, you're never gonna make any more money because they pay the person, not the person. They pay the position, not the person. A lot of times, right? So a lot of times, maybe this is how much you're worth to the company, but it's how much they pay you. And the difference is what? Profit. See, if they paid you what you're worth, there will be no profit. Because a lot of times, I want you to think about it. If you're making $50,000 a year and for a company, that means you're actually worth more, 150,000 times 3 times your income. This is how much you're worth. This is how much you actually bring into the corporation, right? For them to pay you that. In one way or another, right? No matter what you do, in one way, whatever you're doing is causing that to happen. So you never get paid what you're worth, right? Or someone decides to become self-employed, right? Which is one way we talk, self-employed. Like you own a job, a dentist, doctor, lawyer, hairstylist, real estate, right? Salesperson, right? For example, the great thing about becoming self-employed, you get a chance to work when you want to work. You get a chance to, how can I say that? If you don't work, right? To set up your own schedule, you're able to have some freedom. But the challenge it will also being self-employed is 100% of your income depends on you alone. If you don't work, you don't get paid, right? So you have to physically be there working over and over again, right? And guess what happens? But when you own a business, you have your own system. You have others working with you. You have unlimited income. That means you have a system in place whether you are there and now you still make income. Right. One of the rules of wealth, we always talk about past episodes, you have to work 100 hours a day. You have to find a way to scale you to work 100 hours a day.
Good episode.
Right. Which is very important. Or you become an investor. You have your money working for you. You enjoy complete freedom, you live the dream. See, in the beginning, you got to work hard for your money, but you also need to have your money work hard for you. Right. But if you ask them which 2 ways to earn income appeals to you the most, the left side or the right side? Most people say business owner or investor. But why are most people on the left side? Because they just don't know how to get to the right side. And the challenge that's happening, if you think about something, right? We always taught, like I've talked about you have to own your income, right? Think about some things we're taught. Is it better to own your car or rent your car? If I say better to own your car,
right?
It's better to own your home or rent your income. Own your home or rent your home. You say own your home, but is it better to own your income or rent your income? And most people think about middle class. We taught you should own your car, own your home, but we rent our income away. What is renting? What does that actually mean? That means you go to work for a certain amount of time, you get paid something, right? And you have to keep working. Just like when you rent, right? You pay the landlord rent and you stay in the house. And you have to keep, for you to stay in the house, you have to keep paying the landlord rent. If you stop paying the landlord rent, guess what happens? Eventually, you're going to stop staying in the house, right? It's the same thing with your income. You have to rent your income. You have to work to get a paycheck, right? You have to work and get a paycheck. You have to work, right? But if you stop working, you stop getting that paycheck.
That's it.
Makes sense, right? So what can we do? We need to do something where eventually you can, just like you can stop. Eventually, if you own your home, Eventually, you pay for a period of time, but eventually you can stop paying and you own your home.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. We have the same thing with our income, that we work for a period of time doing something, but eventually we have to own our income. Make sense? To the point
Yes.
that our income keeps coming to us whether we work or not.
So good.
Right? So important. But there's 5 legitimate reasons why that stop people going to business for themselves. But yeah, that sounds good, but how do I go into business? But that's expensive. Number one, you don't have the capital. It costs a lot of money to go into business for yourself. A lot of money, right? If you're gonna just rent, just like a franchise, right? For franchise, McDonald's franchise, almost like $1 million just to own a McDonald's franchise.
Yep.
And if you think about average McDonald's owner makes maybe $150,000, $200,000 in profit, but you have to get $1 million just to get in a franchise. Just open average just to start is $10, $15, $20. So think about it. Someone's barely making it. Paycheck. Imagine someone that's like has $1,000 maybe in their check and that not even $1,000 for expenses. They can't even think about what capital, right? Second thing, they don't have time. Sometimes it takes a long time because if you're gonna run your own business, right? Open your business, you have to invest a lot of time to get it going. Right? So that's the second. Third is lack of knowledge. I want to do something, but how much knowledge do you have? You know, are you going to find someone that's willing to teach you the business you're in? Some people are lucky enough. Some people you're not, because they're not going to teach you something if you're going to be the competition, right or wrong.
Right.
Too much risk. That's a lot of risk. Listen, 95% of businesses fail in the first 5 years.
That's right.
First 5 years, right? Which is a reality, right? And fear of failure. Fear of failure. People are afraid to fail. What if it doesn't work? What if someone had a full-time job and you left your full-time job to run a business, right? There's fears. So they can't do it. Makes sense? Right? It's important. Well, people say, what works? This is what helped me. This is what really made a big difference for me personally, because I was exactly where people were. So there's 5 reasons why should someone get involved in a financial field, for example, like where I was. This is what I saw, right? Number one, what kind of person will get involved? Number one is they dislike their current job, right? Which I didn't like. I was working for UPS. I didn't like what I was doing. I was looking to do something different, right? UPS, right? And I was right. And I was looking to make a change better income. So that's one option, right? The second was earn extra income. There's people that love what they do, but a part-time income make a big difference. Because there's people you love what they do. Some people are teachers and they love what they do. They have a career they love, and there's absolutely nothing. I have 100%, right? But they realize they have goals and dreams, but their income is right down here. So they want to make more money. The third kind of reason people won't get started in financial, number one, is they want to get a financial education. They want to learn how to win the money game. One of the biggest perks I can share with you that helped me so much, and we made a tremendous income in our business, but what happens is the financial education is second to none. Learning what to do with their money. They get a chance to learn, like everything I'm sharing, you learn for yourself. Think about that. Think about everything we shared in 87 episodes, right? Imagine if you learn that for you, just that alone. This is why one thing I love, I've seen so many people in our business, right, and I feel that I personally know that are never made a lot of money. They were, a lot of them were teachers, right, and they never made more than a couple $1,000s a month with us, right, part-time, and they're cash millionaires, and you never know. You would never know. They've been part-time for 20 plus years, right? But they're cash millionaires. Why? Because not only they learned the concept, they got the financial education, they applied it to their lives, they earn extra income, be able to funnel it towards their financial goals, and they're cash millionaires. And they're very simple. They don't have flashy cars, flashy homes. They're walking into you and never know. You would never think the person is worth a couple $1 million. It's just a reality, right? And that's those people. Number 4, love helping people. And they believe making a difference, helping others. One thing I love, because we're able to help people, impact people in so many ways. And if you want to help people, impact people, listen, that's why I am fortunate. I have so many great people that work with me. I have pastors that work with me, licensed working with me. I have principals that work with me. Principals. They're making a 6-figure income work with me. Why? Because they love helping people. One of the principals that works with us, he was, and guess what? He doesn't do it for the money, but what happened when he was young, his mom passed away, unfortunately, when he was young. And they didn't have any life insurance, and they had to go collect money. They had to go walk around the building, collect money for the final expenses. And they will be able to collect, I think, $620, a certain amount. Not even enough. And he realized there's so many people that need to know about this. And one thing that drives him is like he wants to get the information out there. He wants to be able to help people get information out there. People need to know about life insurance. People need to know about saving and investing. So powerful. Right. So he doesn't do it for the money. He does it to impact people. Yes.
So
and if
good.
You're a person so important, the option own their own business, right? So what would someone get? What would someone get? In other words, if someone got like part-time in a financial, number one is you're going to receive a educational personal finance. You're going to be powerful, which we talked about, right? Guess what? What else would they get? They would have flexibility to earn additional part-time income, right? To have the flexibility to earn part-time income. Listen, the craziest thing that happened to me when a financial field is when I was able to learning the business, and I was actually within a couple of months, I was making as much money. I was helping two families make as much money I was making in a week. I was like, oh my God. And that made a big difference. Because when I first started in the financial field, I didn't want to make big money. I didn't want to make a 6-figure income. I was like, if I could make an extra $1,000 a month, I'll be happy. That's what I saw. Because I used to have $1,000 in my checking account, but it was gone in 2 days. You understand that, right? It was disappeared. I was like, if I can have $1,000 in my checking account not accounted for, I'll be happy. I'll be so happy, right? And I started like, oh my God, it's not bad, right? And I started, it kept growing, right? And number 3, you can build a part-time business as a bridge to your full-time business. You're able to do something part-time. You don't have to quit your full-time job. You have the flexibility to have no quotas. You can learn as you go. And you're able to do it. And that makes a big difference. Because think about it. I always ask someone a very important question. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a spare tire in your car? Well, most people say. They say yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The answer is why? In case you.
Yeah, get a flat.
Do you have a spare tire for your career or your job?
Mm.
Most people say, well, why not? Because what if something happens, you get laid off, or you can't? Do you have something that you can fall on the side that can sustain you?
Yeah.
And most people, they don't have that. I promise you, your employer has a spare tire for you. As much as indispensable you think you are, you're not.
That's right.
You're not. They find someone. Just if you're late, they'll find some tomorrow, like the same day. They'll find someone to replace you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so on this. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. They'll replace you. They'll replace you in a second. That's what I was telling people. Always have a spare tire for your own career. Make sure you have something enough that you can sustain you on the side. Okay, that if something happened, God forbid, that your whole family's financial future is not in disarray. So you don't fall apart, right? And guess what? Listen, and I tell people ultimately there's 2 options everybody has, right? Number 1, you can keep doing what you're doing. Next 5, you look same as the last 5 years.
Right.
Right. And that's the question I always ask. Sometimes, listen, here's the question I always ask. Sometimes a hard question. Let me ask you a question. Take a look what if you made for the past 5 years. So let's say you made 40 or 50. Let's say you made $50,000 a year. So in 5 years, you made about $250,000. How much of that money can you grab today if you had an emergency? Can you grab at least 1 year worth of income? For the average person, the answer is no. So what makes you think the next 5 years are going to be any different? See the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result. If we keep doing what we're going to keep getting what we're getting.
Right.
And that's what happens with so many people. They want to keep doing what they're doing and they want something to change. Listen, when I worked, I used to pray every single time I worked at UPS. I was like, oh my gosh, please let them make a mistakes and give me an extra comment on my check. And it never happened. Whenever they made a mistake, it was always less, not more, which I had to fight for hours. It's never more, right? But it's just reality of life. Okay. Or you can come work part-time, you can build the business until you can make a career change. This is why we love the financial field, because it allows us to be able to what? To have freedom, to be able to, and whether someone does financial, that's up to them. But you have to find something. You need to have a spare time. You cannot depend where in the, but if they get rid of you like that, you gotta make a difference. You gotta make a big difference, right? And be very careful what's out there. There's a lot of different things out there. Sounds too good to be true. Be very careful. Be very vigilant.
Yes. And you're right. You said earlier, we do get a lot of text messages of, hey, work from home, work remotely, and you can make this much. And it's wild, the things that are out there.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them are just not legitimate.
Not at all.
Not all. Not 99 not legitimate at all.
Yeah. This was an interesting episode, because it started where you were just sharing, do you have the $1,000 for an emergency if something were to happen? Or what if you didn't get your paycheck this Friday? You shared with us the inflation situation, the prices on homes, groceries, gas. You took us on a roller coaster in this episode, because it was like, wow, things are really bad. Like, yes, you're right. This is really bad. And at one point, my husband was like, where's the good news, coach? Where's the good news? And then you started bringing that in on this gig economy, where, okay, yes, you can get a gig, a side hustle thing, but the real thing is starting your own business, being investing and learning all things that have to do with financial stability, financial growth, financial education, in becoming a financial advisor. So if someone is interested in working with you, because I know you mentioned that you have people that are principals and people who have careers that do this because of those 5 reasons that you shared with us. I'm going to put that slide back up here, because that was really good, where they want to do it because they want to help people. They have this desire to help people. But at the same time, they do want to earn that extra income. There are teachers who love what they do. They love being teachers, but the income stops right there.
Exactly. So much.
And they can get licensed. And you guys don't call it a certification. You guys call it a license.
License. We're very regulated. We're a very highly regulated industry, and we have to get certain licenses. We register with the state, the federal government. So license. So this is legitimate. It's not something we can't just have anyone come work with us. It's not like that. Okay. There's certain qualification. You're not over 18, of course, right? You can't have, unfortunately, any criminal situation, unfortunately, because we're very regulated. But the good thing about that is we pick up most of the licensing costs. We help people, and especially this month, we actually work in the month of we're in July, right? Just making sure.
July,
right? After the World Cup for like 30 days. So I'm like totally confused right now, right?
Yeah,
thank God it's done, right? No distraction, right? But there's a lot of great opportunity right now to get people licensed right now. We just said we have a nurse. We just got a nurse just started working with us today.
Nurse, that's awesome.
She was like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, I'm tired. I get hurt and I want to do something different. Well, let's talk. Let's see what we can do.
That's fantastic. Well, folks, the email is scrolling below. You already know how to contact Bernard. You can leave a comment here. You could scan the QR code up at the top. And listen, he's here, ready, available, and you're going to learn, and you're not going to do this by yourself, which is fantastic. I love that we're able to do this. This was a great topic. Love the title. So good. And my friends, listen, we want to share with you that in August, starting August, we are moving from Tuesdays to Wednesday. New day, same time, and the exact same mission. So we will be here Wednesdays in August. So I believe we still have one more week on Tuesdays. Then after that, we're switching, and it's gonna be exciting, man. We have so many things that we're gonna talk about, and so many ideas and things like that, which is important. So we can really make it even more exciting as we work towards our 100th episode, which I'm excited about. Yes, there'll be some changes on how the podcast flow is, the intro, outro, just all the fun things. and just getting a new look, rebrand. It's going to be fun and exciting as we celebrate 100 episodes. I still can't believe it. Every Tuesday when I'm on here preparing the next episode, I'm like, wait, episode 85, is it 84? And then I look, I'm like, oh my God, we're on 87 already. We're almost at 90. This is great. All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of those who are on. We appreciate you. We love you. And we want you to grow financially. We want your family and your home to be blessed and highly favored in all things. All right, Bernard, I will see you next week.
Next week. Right, absolutely.
Have a good one. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.